Hello. This, by the way, is water, and I refuse to change my top. I know, just ignore the stain, ignore it. Anyway, in today's video, I am going to be speaking about why males are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed as autistic than females. Why females are underdiagnosed. I'm going to basically give my reasons. These might not be all factually correct. They're not scientific. I am not a doctor. These are my theories, opinions. So as I've said, I've already given you the statistic, boys are 4 times more likely. And my first reason why is basically when autism first came about, it was studied on a male brain. Males are different to females, in whether that's due to nature or nurture, the way a male is brought up. Basically, a lot of males do have different characteristics to females on a neurotypical level. So obviously, if a study only studies males, you're only going to be able to generalise the findings of that study to the male population. Therefore, when autism was studied, it was only studied on males, so the characteristics found on the studies of autism are male orientated, which means that the diagnostic criteria, criteria, is male orientated. So when you go to be diagnosed as autistic, then the diagnostic criteria is based on a male brain. That is basically my first reason and my kind of factual theory, because it is factual that males are different to females. Well, maybe not factual, but you know, we are socialised completely differently. In most families, males are socialised different to females. Males grow up in a different way females grow up, meaning when autistic males will be different to autistic females, meaning that females will go underdiagnosed. That's my first reason. Second reason is, as I've just kind of said, the way males and females are socialised is different, which means that kind of to do with society's norms of what society deems acceptable what society deems acceptable. So what I mean by this is sometimes when boys show traits of autism, it may be seen as more obvious to what girls may show. If girls and boys showed the same traits, which is very rare anyway, 2 people rarely show the exact same traits, but if they did, it would be more noticeable in boys because of the way society takes that. So I'm going to give an example of this. Basically, if girls were seen as extremely emotional, crying, panic attacks, before like social situations, it would be seen as like a bit of anxiety. The girl's a bit anxious, a bit emotional, because that's kind of normal for a girl to behave. So no one would really think that's out of the ordinary, because society takes girls as being quite overly emotional and sensitive, whereas if a boy acted that way, it wouldn't come across the same way. People would think, oh, there's something not right with this boy, because when you think of a boy, people associate boys with being like really hardcore and like masculine and like not sensitive and can't cry, can't show emotion, which if they do, if a boy avoids social situations and gets anxious before social situations, it's just not seen as normal. So yeah, that is kind of another reason. Also, another reason, kind of on the topic of social norms and whatnot, girls often have different special interests to boys that also are seen more normal. For example, boys might show interest in like really like nerdy things, or things that seem really nerdy, like maths, computers, trains. I'm literally just making things up, but you know what I mean. Some things that are very like stereotypical, autism, repetitive, obsessions. The do you know what I mean? The stereotypical things, and it's more common for boys to get like more like obsessed in these things rather than girls. Girls do, however, have repetitive behaviours, do have obsessions, do have special interests, but their special interests are seen more normal. For example, a girl might have a special interest in fashion. They might be really, they might know everything there is about fashion, but that seems more normal than a boy having a really special interest in trains, for instance, and being like, know everything about trains. It's kind of the way society picks up things. For example, me, I get obsessed with TV shows and characters in the TV shows. I get very like fixated, and it's literally everything I watch over and over and over again because of a character or whatnot. And this wasn't picked up. Well, it was picked up, but it's less likely to be picked up than maybe if a boy was like really interested in like trains, birds, I don't know, something like that. Do you know what I mean? So that is another reason. Another reason, third reason, is a lot of girls, I feel like, want to fit in. A lot of autistic girls really want to have friends and really want to fit into society, and maybe more than boys. Now, this is a theory. This is not correct. This is a theory that girls want to fit in more than boys. They want to learn how to fit in a neurotypical way. Therefore, they kind of make it like the centre priority to fit in and make friends. This is relating to me. I am relating this part of it to me. I did this. I wanted friends. I was very lonely. I knew I was different and I wanted to be like everyone else. So I copied. I masked, which I've done a video on masking. I will link down below. I masked. I wanted to be like everybody else. I wanted to have friends. So I copied, as I said, I got very obsessed with TV shows. I copied characters of TV shows and invented my own personality from a mixture of different characters that I have watched on the TV. Now, these characters were neurotypicals, or, well, they might or may not be, but you know what I mean. So their behaviour seemed in an acceptable way. So when I was going to school and acting like this, teachers are less likely to pick up on the behaviour because you're acting like what someone would think is normal. It's basically masking our entire true personality in order to fit in. So some would say that girls are more socially aware of our surroundings, we're more aware of what society wants us to be like, and we care more about what society thinks of us. So basically, girls are pros at masking their autism, which makes it hard to notice. So autism for girls can be quite hard for people that don't know you very well to pick up. So a lot of girls might have had people say, like friends, family that don't see you every day, might say, no, she's not autistic. There's no way she's autistic. That is a very common thing for girls because of the fact that they just kind of reinvent themselves. And when they're young and they don't really mask as much, it's just put down to them being a child or being a bit like immature or a bit imaginative, or do you know what I mean? Just being children. Whereas when you get older, the girl starts to mask and maybe the boy doesn't. This is a theory. This might not work for all boys, all girl, it's different, but this is what I am suggesting. A lot of family members or friends might not be able to pick it up. However, people that live with you, that's a different story. A person cannot mask their entire lives. It would just be completely socially draining, and it's just logically not possible. It just can't be. can't be possible. Through masking, let's say 8 hours, 6 hours a day, a girl is very likely to explode after all that. They may be exhausted, they may be burnt out, they may have meltdowns, and I feel that my autism traits were more amplified than what they would have been if it had just been myself all day. So when I got home from school, my autism traits were amplified. I'd have meltdown after meltdown, I'd be exhausted, I'd be burnt out, I couldn't do anything, which makes it more obvious for parents. But let's say if a parent noticed it and then you've got everyone around you saying, no, she's not autistic, then your parent might think, well, it can't be autism, or she can't be autistic because it's only me that's noticing it. No, that isn't the case. If you notice something, if a parent notices something, you've got to listen to the parent, because the parent, at the end of the day, the parent knows best. The parent sees the child more than you do. You can't really make it, you're not really knowledgeable on the matter, are you, realistically? If a parent thinks that a child is autistic, I'm not saying they definitely are, I'm just saying don't listen to everyone else's opinions, because it may be not the case, it may be not true, because they won't know your child as much as what you do. Okay, my next reason is lack of proper representation in the media. The way autism is presented in the media, such as Undateables, such as on TV shows such as Atypical, Good Doctor, Rain Man, that's a film, but you know what I mean. Majority are males. Not only are the males, their autism traits are made more amplified, and they only show the stereotypical traits of them being socially awkward, quite nerdy, unable to fit in society, and unable to... Basically, autism can be hidden. Autism can be very well hidden in society, especially in girls, and it is never shown like that. And people learn from the media. People learn things. People learn about autism from the media. So they're learning all the wrong things. Now, maybe a percentage of autistic people might act that way, but not all. We need to have a mixture. Because if not, then people are only going to pick up on the very stereotypical autism traits, which isn't true. There's so many autism traits that are never ever shown, like me. I socialise quite well, I have friends, all them things are very rarely shown. It's always like the unable to like communicate very well, and like the unable to understand sarcasm and seem very literally, taken as very literally, and kind of, I feel like the way that autism is presented is kind of to entertain the audience, which shouldn't just be like that, because it is a topic that needs more awareness. It shouldn't just be the way that you want people to entertain. So it's like funny. They try and present autism in like a funny, humorous way. I don't know if humorous is a word, we're just gonna pretend it is. So yeah, in a funny, humorous way. We need to have more female autistic characters in the media to show that autism has no face, no set of traits, no set personalities. It's just a different way of thinking that presents itself very differently in every single autistic person, and that is what I want to see more of in the media. And at the moment they don't have that, so the media is leaking false information. That's why basically I just wanted to make this video to basically bring more awareness myself, because it isn't shown in the media. I want to bring more awareness to the fact that autism exists in girls, but it may exist differently. It may be seen as more of an invisible disability. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video here. I hope you found it educational and you enjoyed it, and I will see you again next week. Also, if you've got any ideas of anything you want me to talk about, anything you want me to film, please let me know in the comment section below. And other than that, I'll see you next week. Bye!